We simply can't hire in technology our way into being ready. We need to begin to identify skills that we will need in the future and provide resources to allow team members to grow in these areas. Welcome. I'm Carrie McClure, and we are on a journey here at American Airlines, and I'm excited for the opportunity to share it with you. As a customer, when you're sitting on the runway, waiting to head off for your destination, it's hard to imagine just how much work has gone into getting ready for your trip. You may have interacted with one of our agents to confirm the flight or book it. Someone may have helped you check in at the airport. A luggage agent tagged and made sure your luggage got on the correct loading cart. A gate agent invited you to board the airplane. A mechanic conducted a pre-flight check to keep you safe. Someone cleaned the airplane, prepared the food that would be served. A flight attendant helped you find your seat. And dispatch calculated the flight plan and the exact takeoff parameters. The pilots ensured that everything was perfect for a safe and smooth flight. Ready for takeoff requires a complex, highly regulated, learned set of procedures that keep you safe and hopefully comfortable. As a learning organization, it's our job to ensure everyone is fully trained, understands their roles and responsibility, and consistently follows them. That's the functional part of our training. I want to take you today through 3 pieces of the journey we're on. The functional part, but it's so much more than that. Secondly, over the years, we've optimized delivery of the training to provide improved retention and contain cost. And now, thirdly, we are entering a new era where we must unleash and embrace a learning mindset. A learning mindset that employees need to thrive as the pace of change for every one of our job accelerates. When your company's mission is to lift people thousands of feet in the air and transport them to a totally new location hundreds of miles away, there is no room for human error. You probably think about our pilot training and the mechanical integrity when you think about flight safety. And so do we. Safety is our number 1 priority. But you might not realize how very specific our functional certification program must be to stay in compliance with regulations. For example, our mechanics, of course, have to be aviation certifications, but it's not just their general licensing. A mechanic has to be certified annually on specific tools and processes. They may need to use a specific type of wrench, for instance, for a maintenance task. They not only need to know how to use it, but they have to keep their certification current. A mechanic could be doing the same job for 10 years, but if their certification wasn't renewed, or if someone simply forgot to check the completed in our LMS system, that mechanic can't use that wrench, can't fix that airplane, and the plane is not taking off on time. Likewise, an airport agent must be in compliance with annual dangerous good regulation training in order to accept and check baggage. If they're not in compliance, they're not able to work, which could impact the flight check-in and the on-time departure of that aircraft. Think about that across all of our jobs here at American Airlines, in all of our operations, across all the places we serve globally. Once more, it's inefficient just to think of the functional training, and it's not just static. That same dangerous goods training that I was just referring to was actually a 4-hour-long training, and every team member that touched luggage had to complete it each and every year. But we realized these agents had done the same training year after year after year. And most long-term employees already knew the material. It was boring and it was long. And we suspected it was becoming less effective each year. Not to mention it cost us a lot of money to take employees out of the operation to repeat this training year after year. So we went to the FAA We got approval to produce 3 20-minute modules that were focused and more scenario based. So not only did our learners begin reporting more dangerous goods, signaling that they were absorbing what they had learned, but more importantly, it saved millions of dollars in training costs. So our journey has evolved from not just the functional training that's needed, but into optimizing the learning footprint for our team members and beginning to use new modalities of training for our team members to keep it interesting. Lastly, it's not enough for us just to help employees understand how to do their job right for today, or even to optimize their training. We have to help our employees build a learning mindset that gets them ready for what might be needed in the future. Right now, we are living through this need in an urgent, unprecedented way. The global pandemic has required rapid adjustments to our refund policies, hygiene protocols, and even rules such as allowing flight attendants to wear a mask. In times like these, we focus quickly on what's essential. We get our team members the information they need in time and help them adapt in real time as we learn more each day. Going to the next slide. But luckily, adapting to an urgent healthcare crisis is very rare. Most of the time, we're able to focus our efforts on helping employees not only do their job for today, but to begin to consider the work that they might be doing in 2, 3, or even 5 years from now. I myself have had over 30 very different positions in my 35 years at American. And while my amazing career journey just organically evolved, it would have been nice if I'd had some type of a structured path and guidance along the way that helped me reach my full potential and expand my skill sets. This need is particularly true in our rapidly changing part of our business, technology. We simply can't hire in technology our way into being ready. We need to begin to identify skills that we will need in the future and provide resources to allow team members to grow in these areas. Here at American, we recently invested in a learning experience platform that does just that. And our team members are excited about the ability to have access to these wide variety of learning content that will allow them to grow and develop professionally. Our job as learning professionals is never done, but I'm proud of the progress we're making. Even just small moves in reskilling our internal team members for relevant roles versus external hiring represents a significant cost savings for our business, but more personally is exciting new opportunities for our team members. We recently developed an internal mission statement of caring for people on life's journey. And while this applies to our customers and caring for them on their journey with us as an airline, it also applies to our team members and caring for them in their career journey here at American. I'm proud to say that our learning team does everything possible to ensure our team members are functionally trained and ready to care for our customers on their journeys. But we are also focused now on our internal journey and in helping our team members develop this adaptive learning mindset. Thank you for your time and letting me share the journey that we've been on. And I look forward now to any comments and questions that you might have for me. So thank you for all your questions. We will do our best to take as many as possible. The first question that I see here is, what an incredible journey you've been on. Looking back, what would you do differently? Well, I'm not sure if you're talking about my own journey or our journey here at American. So I will answer both. From a personal perspective, I would have been more intentional about my career and investing in myself and learning. That would have included charting a path on my skills and those that I was interested in learning to reach my full potential in leading and serving at American. I would have also been more diligent about finding mentors along the way. But from the perspective of our learning journey here at American, the key to the success was engaging and getting support from the leaders. And we did do that, but I would have spent more time in getting them to understand the value and benefits in upskilling our team members for future needs. The groups that have been most successful during our pilot phase of our learning mindset and introducing our learning experience platform have been the groups where the leaders have communicated and supported the opportunities for team members to develop and grow in their roles. Let's see here. So here's a question. What role has technology played in your learning mission? Well, the tools to deliver and track learning are really the critical pieces. So we just launched Agreed, which is a learning experience platform, and it allows team members not only to access our required training from the LMS, but also all other content like SkillsSoft and all the other resources that are available. It's like the one-stop shopping for learning. And it also allows them to have a holistic transcript of the variety of sources that the team members are using to learn. And this is from articles, from podcasts, TED Talks, books, videos, our own internal e-learnings. And in the environment we're in, we're realizing that we won't have as much in-person learning. So we need to make it digital, we need to make it easy access, and we need to ensure that it is available anytime, anywhere. So really making it more mobile for our team members. So a question here, what was the hardest challenge to overcome on your learning journey? Well, I think first we do have a federated learning model. So we do have training teams in each of our functional training groups that deliver and develop some of their own functional training. So the first thing we did was have to establish a learning council where we had some level of governance and consistency around learning. But I think probably the biggest challenge, and we're currently still working on this today, is just finding ways to measure the impact and effectiveness of learning. So we're still working on increasing that, and we're starting to now develop training with the end in mind. So we're asking the questions, what are our objectives, and setting out key KPIs with planned measurements in advance. So the information now we're able to glean from team members with their on-demand voluntary engagement. It allows us to determine where we have training gaps. It allows us to know where we need to invest in content. So we're moving towards being able to make data-driven decisions. But I think really that challenge is determining the ways that in advance we're going to measure the effectiveness of our training. So here's one. For someone looking to accelerate their company's learning journey, where should they start? So I think it is moving along that journey and looking past just the development, the delivery of your functional training, the training that team members need to know to do their jobs today, and begin to understand your learners and how they are most engaged, how they want to learn, so that you can then begin to optimize the learning footprint. Look at trying to do things differently, not just the same old way we've delivered training over and over. So then as you begin to find new ways to deliver training and maybe make it more learner-centric, use more modalities, then you can move on to saying, okay, now what are some of the skills for the future? And then how do I best develop team members to upskill and stay relevant? But it's kind of that getting past the today, the functionalization of that, then optimizing that, getting credibility from your learners that you are investing in them, and then moving on to developing that learning mindset. Here's a question. What is the most important attribute of an adaptive mindset? I think it's that curiosity to want to learn. It is developing that mindset that learning never stops. So I think you have to realize that, you know, you can't just think you know it all and you're just going to be proficient and be the SME forever, but you need to be curious about the trends in your industry and that area of expertise. So you're staying ahead of that curve and you're ready for the skills that are needed in the future. I think also just taking advantage of all the opportunities that are available, and investing in yourself. I think really the most important attribute is understanding that you need to take time for yourself, and it requires intentionality, and it requires also setting aside time on your calendar so that you're able to do that. So one of the ways, the question is of how you've adjusted the onboarding of new employees. We actually had just rolled out about a year ago a program called Getting Ready for Takeoff. And we were bringing all team members into our headquarters, into our learning university from across the globe, and giving them the opportunity to understand the company that they'd come to work for, and really helping them understand our mission, caring for others on life journeys, our purpose, what it took for their role to fit in and make us successful, blending in with all the other roles within our company. And that was working really well. We were having a great success for that. But as far as adapting that, during this time, we have now had to take that program, which was really centered on bringing team members in and forming relationships, and find a way to make it virtual. And with that, I think that has been challenging, but there's still opportunities to let them understand what type of company they've come to work for and the culture that we're trying to create. And part of that culture is this learning mindset. So I think one of the things with our team members is not just teach them, here's what you need to do today, but begin to let them see the opportunities that are there for learning and all the other roles that might be interesting to them in their career with American. Again, I think it is about telling employees that instead of having lifetime employment, that we want to create a culture where we have lifetime employability. We are going to continue training them, upskilling them so that they do have the relevant skills to grow and change and adapt, which is so critical where we are today. Interestingly enough, a question just recently from our mechanics, and our mechanic group has a very high seniority rate. And they usually come in, they've been trained to work on one type of aircraft. They may move over their career of 30 years from one aircraft to another, or one type of aircraft part, from an engine to another part of the aircraft. But for the most part, they stay there. And just recently, we had a new hire, a mechanic. And one of the questions he had is, what are the other opportunities in this company? And I think it startled us. It actually startled the manager there in our maintenance department because he had never been asked that question. He didn't even know how to answer. I mean, beyond, well, you could move to this aircraft or this part, to really think more broadly about the opportunities. And there are so many variety of opportunities within our airline for this team member. So I think that's the journey we're on, is really helping team members understand right from the beginning all the opportunities. And like I had said, I wished I had had the opportunity to know the different roles and the skill sets and been more intentional about a guided career. Um, a question here: how has the COVID and obvious impacts to your business, how's this impacted the journey around the learning mindset? Um, Actually, that's a very interesting question, because our plan to roll out this learning experience platform was actually to be in March. And as we realized what was happening at the 1st of March, our team members obviously could not do anything but answer the phone, try to help our customers that were trying to change their reservations, trying to understand what we needed to do different on our aircraft to make our customers feel safe. So initially, we knew immediately everybody was heads down and trying to figure out what would happen. So we postponed the launch, but then we realized really at the 1st of April, where team members now, we didn't have customers returning. We had been able to shrink the amount of flights that we had. We didn't have customers making as many new bookings. In fact, we were offering voluntary leave for team members because we just our business had shrunk immediately overnight. So we realized this was the right opportunity to let team members take time to invest in themselves. So we rolled it out, and the exciting thing is we've been able to make it available for team members that are on leave of absence, and for team members who at the moment may not have as much work. Maybe I'm in a station and I used to have 10 flights a day come in, and they were pretty much back to back, and now I have 2. So it is an opportunity. And I also think that we all need to be realistic about the fact that all of our world is changing. Our work will change. The skills that we may need to do our work may be different. So it's kind of an opportune time for team members to take stock in their own personal development and learning and prepare for the future. Here's a great question, and it's really about where we are. It's how does American keep our frontline workers, such as gate agents, aligned during quickly changing times? Again, our learning team for in the past has really been able to prepare, and maybe we know something's on the horizon. It's 3 to 6 months out. It gives us time to really develop either a good e-learning or something in advance to get team members spooled up. And to your point, now things are changing daily, and we've had that in the past, and we've had just very quick ways of communicating with team members. But our team is having to use rapid development tools and quickly take things and turn them into training just very quickly, where we can get information out to our frontline team members. And that is just part of the environment we're in. And it just is ensuring that we have the communication tools and resources to reach them quickly. So it is definitely challenging, and it has changed a little bit of the way that we've developed training, because we're doing things much more rapidly and maybe not quite as polished as some of the training that we would have put out in the past. Are there any other questions? I think a question we have here is, how do you measure results? I will tell you, we are still on this journey, but in optimizing the footprint initially, the measurement was around reducing training costs and increasing the effectiveness of the learning. One of the things I can tell you, I think I mentioned this learning council as we put some type of governance around the federated training models. One of the first things we did was try to determine what the cost was in training frontline team members. And it's very different for our management and support staff, who a lot of times take the training just during their work hour, than it is for our frontline team members, whether it's a reservation agent that you have to take off the phone, whether it's a flight attendant, and you may, depending on the length of the training, have to take her off of a flight, him or her off of a flight to actually do the training. And the cost of doing that is different by work group, but it is definitely very significant cost in delivering training. So as we were optimizing that footprint, I mentioned earlier about the dangerous good training that all of the frontline team members that interact with any type of luggage have to take. And there's about 60,000 employees that took this training every year. It was a 4-hour training, as I mentioned. We got it down to 3 modules that were no more than 45 minutes in total. But we had a cost savings of $4.9 million. And it's really the cost reduction of, instead of training 60,000 team members at varying different cost, depending on how we had to take them out of an operation to take the training, but from 4 hours down to 45 minutes. So again, the measurement there right away was just the pure cost and time savings. But then on the other end, the effectiveness and the return on the investment is we actually saw an increase in team members that were reporting dangerous goods. So while you think, okay, they're reporting it more, it was because they had absorbed the training, they knew what they were looking for, and they were actually being more efficient in reporting out incidences. That was what the training was meant to do. Our measurement on results with this learning mindset will be initially measured in the engagement of team members with our learning experience platform. How often are they engaged? How much content are they absorbing? What are they learning? But then past that, where we want to go is then, are they taking this learning and applying it to their job? Are they moving into other roles? Are they gaining promotions because of the learning mindset that you have? So lastly, I just want to thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about our journey. If you ever had any other questions, please reach out. We're very excited about the journey we're on and would love to engage or interact with anyone else on a similar journey. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the Perspective Conference. Thank you. Thousand team members at varying different cost, depending on how we had to take them out of an operation to take the training, but from 4 hours down to 45 minutes. So again, the measurement there right away was just the pure cost and time savings. But then on the other end, the effectiveness and the return on the investment is we actually saw an increase in team members that were reporting dangerous goods. So while you think, okay, they're reporting it more, it was because they had absorbed the training, they knew what they were looking for, and they were actually being more efficient in reporting out incidences. That was what the training was meant to do. Our measurement on results with this learning mindset will be initially measured in the engagement of team members with our learning experience platform. How often are they engaged? How much content are they absorbing? What are they learning? But then past that, where we want to go is then, are they taking this learning and applying it to their job? Are they moving into other roles? Are they gaining promotions because of the learning mindset that you have? So, lastly, I just want to thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about our journey. If you ever had any other questions, please reach out. We're very excited about the journey we're on and would love to engage or interact with anyone else on a similar journey. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the Perspective Conference. Thank you.